Trish, I just want to congratulate you just one for Hunger Games. I mean, I was so blessed to have the chance to watch it, and what a
Oh,
beautiful
great.
movie. Everything, costumes, hair, makeup, to the whole movie in itself. So, congratulations to you and your team, and I've been a fan of your past work too.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you got to see it.
Amazing. I am
Good.
so excited for everyone to see this. But, I want to dive in here because I know you've worked on the past Hunger Games costume wardrobe. So, Trish, in terms of this one with wardrobe, how would you say this was different for you?
This one's definitely different from Catching Fire because in Catching Fire, we've had several Hunger Games that have happened, and it's, the community and the world that we see is of the capital is very over the top, very opulent, very gluttonous in every
Right.
way, between the food, the clothing, the looks, the aesthetics, everything. And in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, we're going back about 65 years, so we're only in the 10th Hunger Games, and it's just recently after the rebellion. So the choice was to make it look very post-war, bit of Americana 1940 to 1950s. So speaking with Francis Lawrence, the director, and wanting what he wanted that world to look like, and scaling it down and making it still of the capital, but more in a much more conservative way, as we would look at America in the 40s and the 50s. And so that was kind of the route we went about when we started discussing the world, where the costumes would lead, what colorations we would use, how we would work with the districts and the tributes. So it was just a lot of leaning into the world of the 40s and the 50s.
Now, I do want to specifically bring up this outfit because watching the movie, someone actually, when Lucy Gray, District 12, gets called and, she's walking through the crowd, they go, "Oh my God, look at her dress." And I thought to myself, I would be wearing what Lucy Gray was wearing. Okay. So
Mhm.
I want to know about her first beautiful dress in specific. Tell me about that vision you had.
So in the book, Suzanne references Lucy Gray's rainbow ruffled dress, and then it was her mother's dress and handed down. And so that was one of the big challenges of the film, because it does speak so loudly in the books, and I knew it would be a big thing for the fans to see what that was going to be. In a way, it's the same thing as Jim Lawrence's Mockingjay dresses.
Right.
It's like what who the Mockingbird kind of thing, and what she's going to be, the girl on fire, all those references. So this is that Lucy Gray moment with that. So within it is, and the reference you're making is when Arachne goes, "Oh, look at her." Yeah, and so it is that thing of anyone in the capital, of course, has to look down upon the district. So it's going to be this, it is a very like bullying, kind of thing, because
Exactly.
it's not her tributes, so she's going to mock that tribute.
Exactly.
So with Lucy Gray's dress, it was really important to me to kind of get this really right and be very satisfying for myself of what it turned out to be, and for Frances, and for the books, and then also the fan base. So there's a lot that goes into, I want to make what I want to make, but I do want to take into consideration respectfully of what's been laid out to describe the dress. And so with it, it was, leaning into a bit of pulling a little old silhouette shapes from Katniss's blue Mockingjay dress in the corset. So bringing that corset across. And that's something I do for myself and also for the fan base, to have this tie-in, to bring that corset over, and we can use it because it's a very classic piece. And Lucy Gray's character is much different than Katniss, because she's much more of a performer, where Katniss was not a performer at all. And they choose different ways of how to win in these games. And for Lucy, she has to win by charming the audience and getting them to favor her in a lot of ways by her performances and her singing. So with that dress, I stayed true to like doing the rainbow throughout in her skirt and the layers of all the tulle. And then in the corset top, I had my patina team hand paint snakes and Katniss flowers and primrose flowers on the bodice, so that again we have a tie-in to the other films. And that's another one for like the nod to, you know, keeping these two women tied together, even though they're 60 years apart. You know, we can kind of have some little tie-in for them.
Now, quickly, I just want to highlight because, you know, what you do, there's so much time, preparation, detail that goes into it, right? That sometimes people don't, they kind of just, it goes by, oh, that must have been easy. It's like, no, like I said, so much time. So I want to know, Trish, when you focus on one outfit for a character, how much time and preparation really does go into that?
Well, it really, and that's a great question, because it really just depends on what the character is and what the need is there. So as an example, like for Lucy's, you know, that was something, I started working on that design first up front. And then I had 2 illustrators I was working with. So doing different characters with each one, because of our time frame, we have to keep moving forward as quickly as possible. So with Lucy's character, I designed a few dresses, and then I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't working. For some reason, I was like, that's not it. And then when I finally figured out what it was I wanted to be, so you're looking at the time you spend in, is like you start working with an illustrator or you illustrate it yourself. Then it's procuring all the fabrics and getting fabrics in to test on. So like with the corset that's leather, it was getting in various shades to see how the painting worked on it, because it was all hand painted. Then how we can age it down and what takes while aging it down. And then with the skirt was really a large task, because it was figuring out what fabrics, because besides aesthetically how I want it to look and I want it to radiate and I want it to tell the story, I also have to think of the function of this garment. So Rachel, as you saw, she's like crawling around, you know, she's in dirt, she's crawling up walls and running for her life. And then there's also a stunt person. So I had to figure out what could I put her in that she was not going to rip every time she was crawling. So testing different fabrics to see what had some give and what worked. Then you're talking about all the colors that we need. So a lot of time is spent on like prototyping it and making a sample. And then you make the final garment after the fittings. So there's all that time in that. Then once the garment is made, we do the fittings. Then the garment goes to aging and distressing. And then, as an example, for Lucy's particular, that one costume, her reaping costume, we wanted to make 12 of them because of the progression of it and how long she's in it. But time and budgetary wise and all the handwork in it, we ended up making in various pieces 8 of something and 10 of the other between her and her stunt person. So that's all that time of making all those garments, because you don't shoot a film in sequence. So we shot the games first and then went back to the reaping. So we lost like 3 dresses the first week of shooting because they'd gone through the games and were just dirty and destroyed. So it's very time consuming.
Wow. I think it's so important to highlight everything that goes into, you know, bringing these beautiful characters and picture alive to us viewers. And if I had half of your talent, I would rule the world. So beyond talented. I could sit here and pick your brain so much, but thank you so much for your time. And I'm so excited for everyone November 17th to see your work come to life. So thank you so much for your time, Trish.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks for seeing the film and having great questions. Thank you.
Of course. So lovely to meet you, and have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye.